Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
What were your college days like? Mine were a blur of bad jokes, glorious friendships, heady romances, illicit pastimes, and mostly forgettable lectures, despite which somehow we all came away with an education. Chichore gets all of this. Director Nitesh Tiwari creates a cocktail of nostalgia, relationships, family drama, and on-the-nose messaging that does wobble precariously, but eventually it lands.
भाइयों और बहनों, पेश हैं आपकी कॉलेज की यादें बस चंद शब्दों में.
You walk away wanting to be friends with some of these characters. For me, it was Varun Sharma's Sexa, who I think deserves his own spin-off film. In college, Sexa is called Havas Ka Papita, and Varun nails this lovely phrase with his deliciously wicked expressions. He delivers one of the film's best lines. Engineering life में दो चीजें सबसे important हैं, brain और bunty. Bunty, of course, being your privates. But when we see Sexa as an adult, he's sitting in London discussing global trends.
Sexa साले मैं अन्नी बोल रहा हूँ.
ओ साली कम्मो तू बैन की टकी कुत्ते की लंडी बैन.
I want to know how that happened. The one-line pitch for Chichore is Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar meets Three Idiots meets Student of the Year. College friends reunite because one of them is facing a crisis. Ani's son Raghav is in hospital fighting for his life. To bolster his spirits, they start to recount their time together when they were engineering students living in the H4 hostel. The H4 boys were unanimously dubbed losers because the hostel always came last in the GC or General Championship, a college competition in which 10 hostels competed in 30 sports over 2 months. But these losers decide that they will change the narrative.
क्या हम इस साल GC जीत सकते हैं? Yes!
The screenplay ping-pongs between college days and present crisis. The journeys mirror each other down to the dialogue. So when one character says something in the hospital, the retort comes from a scene in the past because the situations are so similar in spirit.
कहानी तूने शुरू की है. खत्म हम सब साथ में मिलके करेंगे.
The writers Piyush Gupta, Nikhil Mehrotra and Nitesh stitch the screenplay like a tapestry. It's clever, but a little too neat, and it gets predictable very quickly. It doesn't help that these scenarios aren't new. We've seen all of this before. The nerdy losers versus the more entitled and affluent bullies. The good-natured ragging, the canteen romances, the bonding that creates a family. There's little in terms of craft to dazzle you, and the music by Pritham is passable but not sticky. And the film, even when dealing with issues like ragging or the pressure to achieve, stays in a sanitized space. There is calamity, but no real darkness. Despite these obvious bumps, what keeps Chichore afloat is the sincerity in its messaging, the characters and the performances. We've all known guys like this. Acid, played by Naveen Polishetty, the boy who can't speak without swearing. Derek, played by Tahir Raj Bhasin, the jaded senior. Bevda, played by Saharsh Kumar, who's basically Devdas without the angst, he's always drunk. And my favorite, Mummy, played by Tushar Pandey, who embodies better than anyone else the awkwardness and vulnerability of youth. Sushant Singh Rajput as Ani and Shraddha Kapoor as Maya don't blend into the surroundings as easily as the others do. He's too confident and she's too obviously cosmetic, but they make up for this in their older avatars. Though Shraddha still struggles with an underwritten role. Maya seems Sa even before they're struck by tragedy. But Sushant blossoms into the father struggling to make right his relationship with his son. His climactic monologue hits home. The prosthetics aren't bad, but did all of them need to have receding hairlines? Has no one heard that 40 is the new 20? These actors and characters hold together the flimsy plot. Nitesh, Nikhil and Piyush also don't let the jokes sag. Pay attention to the supporting characters, like the guy in charge of student accommodation and the hostel cook.
अरे अन्नी नहीं, अनिरुद्ध.
Hostel life है ये भैया.
Each face is a find. The one-liners keep coming so that even when the film tests your patience, and let me assure you that it does, the championship games especially overstretched, you will keep rooting for these people to succeed. Especially for Raghav, played by Mohammed Samad. He looks like a dark-eyed teenage version of Jugal Hansraj from Masoom. You know what that means. Basically, he grabs your affection from the first scene and doesn't let go. He's earnest and heartbreakingly sweet. We want to believe that once upon a time, we were all as unspoiled. Chichore allows us to revisit that first flush of youth. The film is no match for the inspired grunge vibe of In Which Annie Gives It Those Ones or the magic of Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar. But it is a satisfying journey back to within. If you like this review, subscribe to Film Companion. For more content around films and entertainment, go to our website filmcompanion.in. And if you like content in Punjabi, Bengali and Hindi, go to Film Companion Local.